Are Americans brainwashed into this whole freedom gimmick? There's different types of freedom. Somebody once asked why cities tend to skew liberal and rural areas tend to skew conservative. And the answer went something like this. When you live out in the country with nobody around you, you want the freedom to go outside and swing a baseball bat around as much as you want. When you live in the city where there are 100 people on any given sidewalk, you want freedom from the crazy person swinging a baseball bat. TLDR. Everyone's got a different idea what freedom means. You seem to be thinking of freedom from hardships. That's not what American freedom is about. This seems like a loaded question. This guy definitely gets his idea about America based on the shows he watches, lol. Where are you getting 6-day work weeks from? Maybe you shouldn't learn all your false information from our political humor. Well, the things you said aren't true for the people actually here, so it seems more like you're the one that's brainwashed by wherever you heard that from. America is very, very far from being the freest place for humans to live. I live in the Netherlands. Far more personal freedom. Have you ever lived anywhere in America? Just asking since you refer to the place as there. Just for context, I lived in the UK as part of an exchange program. And, not saying it was any better or worse. I had a great time. But there's a real wide gap in terms of perception and reality across the pond. Both ways. School did not rule my life as a kid. I have never been shot at or bullied horribly. I rarely work 6 days per week, and when I do, I get comp time afterwards. My healthcare is 100% free. Any other assumptions about Americans I need to put to rest? You were 0 for 5 in this post. Just seems to me they're not one bit free to do anything. Well, that's just wrong. School rules their life. No, it doesn't. It's a very significant part of life. But there are months without school, and most people still spend a lot of time not doing anything related to school even when it's in session. Speaking as a goody two-shoes who did all my homework, I'm not sure I even spent more time in school doing school-related things than I did enjoying books. Never mind time spent at home. And that's aside from the fact that school per se isn't even mandatory. And ultimately it only affects about 12-14 years of your life. How is that different from any other country? There are certainly countries where school education is typically more dominant, where they run the risk of getting shot or bullied horribly. No. Just no. Setting aside that has nothing to do with freedom, which means you have the liberty to do something without government interference. School shootings are like winning a terrible lottery. Pretty much anyone in pretty much any country is far more likely to die from just about any other non-freak cause of death than an American student is likely to be killed or even injured in a school shooting. Whatever delusions you have to the contrary probably stem from the media you consume. You sound like the Redditor who told me a while back that there were lots of book bans going on, despite the fact that no book bans were actually happening. And there were literally 2 events that were even being reported as bans. As for being bullied horribly, are you just completely unable to accept that whatever media you're consuming may not be entirely accurate? As an example, I was a poor kid with bifocals since kindergarten who often wore threadbare clothes and was very, very much a nerd, with the exception of a couple shoving matches and a single punch to the face. Almost all bullying I received was so minimal I can't even remember it. And that was in the 90s and aughts. I'm given to understand by teachers that bullying is even less severe and common now. Except cyberbullying for obvious reasons. I also very much doubt that US schools are particularly bad in this regard. Once they become an adult, they work 6 days a week with no paid holidays. That, A, again has nothing to do with freedom, and B, simply is not remotely true. Then to get healthcare costs a fortune. Crazy. Again, nothing to do with freedom. And while this one is at least partially true, it is also very often overstated and overblown. In conclusion, I'm not sure you understand what freedom actually is. Hint, it does not mean free time. And I'm fairly sure you're more brainwashed on American life than any American is with respect to freedom. Americans have as much if not more freedom of speech than most places. I think a lot of Americans are like so many Japanese people I've met. They told me Japan is the only country in the world with 4 seasons. They were shocked when I told them that my country has 4 seasons too. They thought they were unique. I think somewhere in the past, there was an idea of Japan as this unique and special country, where the propaganda got mixed with truth. But plenty of people didn't care to check. I think this is what happens in the USA. In so many movies, real-life interviews with people, and public speeches, people constantly repeat something along the lines of, "We live in the greatest nation. We have our freedom. My country has practically all the freedom as the USA. Plus some more." When some American guy came to my country, he was shocked that I was drinking a can of beer outside. Honestly, before that, I had no idea that you couldn't do that in the USA. When that American guy realized it was legal here, he took a beer, went past a cop, and recorded himself with his phone. He was amazed that the cops didn't stop him on the street, and he was recording it as proof for his friends back home. In the end, yes, the USA has plenty of freedom, but it's not even close to being the only country in the world with that freedom. And not even the country with the most freedom. I mean, I think you have a misunderstanding about what freedom is. But if you think American school or work culture is bad, go take a look at South Korea or Japan and let me know how bad it really is. They mean freedom for the corporations, not people. The inaccuracy in some of these comments, this post is astounding. Just goes to show how the news is a disaster in every country. Man, you must have never been to America before, because that's only what the news articles and TV shows tell you it is like here. One thing I appreciate is freedom to buy or do nearly anything I want to. Legal or illegal. If I am on private property and not bothering anyone else, anything goes. It's very much still the Wild West in many areas. Bro, chill out. I work for 5 days a week with paid vacation, paid holidays and 2 extra company holidays. The US has 110,000 schools in it, so the risk of getting shot in school is statistically lower than dying while driving. Hell, it's lower than dying by a vending machine falling on you. I only pay $1,300 towards medical before my insurance covers 80% of the rest. I think you've been watching too much media and movies, man.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. TooAfraidToAsk is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.